The penultimate race of the season is here, and Michigan International Speedway is about to heat up with the championship on the line. Will Maggio pad his lead, or will defending champ Brody close the gap? We're going to have to find out tonight. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Eliza Bethel alongside Pete Bruzik. How you doing tonight, Pete?
Eliza, I am doing great. Glad to be here at Michigan. Last week was a lot of fun. We definitely missed you out there, but I know you were out there in the surf and turf doing your thing with your family. Welcome back. I tell you, Eliza, Michigan International Raceway, always one of my favorite tracks. As you said, the penultimate race, a lot of pressure. So far, between 25 and 30 Cup drivers on track. It's going to be a phenomenal race. How are you? And hopefully, you're not too sunburned.
I'm a little sunburned, but hey, I love the beach, so I'm happy to be back, happy to be here for Michigan, and see what these guys are going to do tonight. Now, we talked about this as we were waiting. Where's Maggio? He's our points leader, Pete. We just got Brody Folliker in the lobby, but our points leader is MIA. Will he show up tonight, or is that going to allow Brody to close that gap? He's 28 points behind. What's it going to be, Pete?
Yeah, 28 points, depending on how it works out with stages. It could be literally a winner-take-all race next week at the Legacy Atlanta Motor Speedway track. Not going to go super speedway style racing to close out the season. It's going to be a great race then, but right now looking forward to Michigan. Yeah, Brody Folliker joined just a minute or two ago, so he missed out on a lot of valuable practice time. But yeah, as you said, right now, as of now, still with 2 minutes to go, no Maggio out on track. The only other points guy maybe still somewhat in play, you could say, is Hernandez. He's been out there turning laps, trying to rip it up.
Yeah, you see Hernandez right there on the track in that one machine. He's had a couple of wins out here this season, doing a phenomenal job. This is his first season with us. But man, I don't know. With Maggio not being here currently, this is really going to shake things up. Brody has to have a great race tonight. He is our defending champion. There he is right there in that 42 car. So we'll see what kind of race he has tonight, but he is showing up late. Curious about how much practice he has had. Polish, I see you out there. Thank you so much for the sub. I appreciate it. Your top, it's cutting you off, but top 10 in practice. How about that? Yeah, good luck to you tonight, Polish. I know you were excited to be here, and we discussed your I rating and whatnot after some bad races, but glad to have you out here.
So, yeah, I mean, you know, if you think about this, and we were talking about this before we went live, all the different possibilities on how this race could go and how impactful the points could be. Brody Folliker, he is no stranger to the top 3, top 5, week after week. That's why last season he was the champion. That's why this season he's very, very much in contention as well. So if Maggio does not show up tonight, and Brody Folliker can completely capitalize, he can have one of the biggest evenings of his life.
Well, Chad is telling me Jamie Wright, who is one of the drivers in here, said Steven will be here. He just had to update. We did have an update from iRacing, so yeah, I hope he can get in here. He's just been so strong this season, and I know it would just absolutely shake things up if he could not make it in time. But 6 wins this season. He won last week at Homestead while we were gone, and take a look at that wreck out here. But yeah, a lot of drivers having issues with iRacing, so hopefully everyone can get in here. But practice is over. These guys are getting ready to go to qualifying. Can we see a Maggio?
That 93 absolutely tore up before we go over to qualifying. I mean, then you see the 11 of Jake Cocker and more really having some issues. But yeah, qualifying now underway. Going to find out who is the fastest man in the Irish Hills of Michigan. It's going to be a phenomenal night and a phenomenal race.
Here we go. We already have a couple of drivers out on track, and the first one is going to be Jordan McGraw for Team FTR. Not a lot of luck for Team FTR. You and I spoke about it. right before a race, but I'm hoping that starts to turn around. And I said, I usually hate to call you guys out saying I want to see FTR in the booth afterwards as a winner, because I feel like it just jinxes them. They're like, hey, do it. Maybe they'll turn our luck around. So we'll see what happens. But we got Jarrett Cardwell out there, Jamie Wright, Joe Berg, Rivers Jones. So quite a few drivers out there, including Brody Folliker. And I did see Steven Maggio make it into the session. So we're good to go in that way.
Yeah, Steven Maggio, he's going to struggle, I think, if he didn't get any kind of practice in during the week. He may struggle at first just to try to find the feel of the track and see what the track temp is like and all that, which right now is showing to be right around 115 degree track temp, 81 degree air temp, sim time right about 2 o'clock in the afternoon. So Eliza, we're starting this off in the heat of the day. This track's going to be slick. These guys might be catching these cars coming off of 2 and 4.
Yeah, these guys were asking what's the temp going to be for the race. They like it hotter. They like to be a little loose, not so grippy. They want that draft to not be as much of a factor as it has been in the past. So I know the looser it is, the less grippy it is, the more these drivers are going to be happy with it. At least some of them. We'll see how it goes, but we already have a couple of drivers out on the board. Jamie Wright in that 03:39.27 on top of the board. Brody Folliker, one of the championship drivers, sitting P2 in points. He's 39.42. Jarrett Cardwell, that number 12, sitting 39.46, P3. Rivers Jones, another championship driver, P4. He is 39.77. Moves down to 5th with Joseph Turley passing him up for P4, 39.72.
And Dave Moransky just took over P7 as we're seeing more and more go to the top of the board. Jordan McGraw, very, very strong right now as the 91 machine for Rivers Jones just goes to the top of the board with a 39.23. A tie for P2 and P3 with a 39.25. Got a 26 for both Cardwell and Sisler. Oh, boy. I mean, this track is very much a draft track, but you'd think that these guys are in a pack going around Michigan, this big old 2-mile D-shaped oval, with how close these times are. But no, it's just how very consistent these racers can be.
Yeah, absolutely. I think once we get in race, these guys are going to kind of fan out. You can run the low side, the middle line, the high side. It just depends on where you have to go and if you have to make a pass. Draft is going to be huge tonight, so I do not expect a lot of drivers to separate out in the field. I mean, we might have a little bit of separation, but man, it is going to be a tight battle all through the night, which is going to really shake things up for these chase drivers. We're going to have to keep our eye on it, but take a look. David Moransky going to the top of the board, 39.22, with Rivers Jones in second, also 39.22, with Jonathan Hernandez sitting P3, 39.24. So extremely close. And I got to bring up for Izzy and Jay Soap Company. We talk about them every single week. A huge thank you to them for being our sponsor. If you can, go out to their website, take a look at what they have. They have natural handmade soaps, beer bombs, and tattoo butters. They benefit your family. Great for sensitive skin. For whether you're a kiddo or an adult that needs something for your sensitive skin, it's all natural. Check them out at www.izzyandjsoap.com.
Yeah, Eliza, after a week in Myrtle Beach, all that salt water, I'm sure it dried out your skin a bit. Maybe just go on over and pay them a little visit. What do you think?
I know, yeah, for sure. And I hear they smell amazing.
Yes, they do.
I'm all about the smells, as long as it's a good smell. I know you said there.
All natural. Yes. When
Yeah,
I got that last
sure.
box, oh my God. Oh, I cut open that tape and yeah, odoriferous is the word.
Yummy. That's all I can say about that is yummy. Chad, I see you out there. Thank you so much for tuning in. And it looks like David Moransky is
How about that?
out here 39.22 going to looks like he's going to take that pole. So huge congratulations to him. We are moving on to warm up here, which you know what that means. We're gonna have to take a look at the track analysis for tonight here at Michigan. 100 laps for Michigan on our penultimate race here. No fast repairs. You can see Polish Hammer. He's celebrating out in chat for his pole tonight. Let's go. Stages. Nice. Stage 1 is going to be 30 laps, so at the conclusion of lap 30, our top 10 drivers will receive those bonus points, with the first driver crossing the line receiving 10 points, and 10th place will receive 1 point. Our second stage is going to be 70 laps long, so a little bit of strategy going on there. We'll see what kind of cautions we have going on tonight for tire sets. 3 tire sets, so we'll see what happens with that, but man, it's going to be a tight race.
Yeah, 3 tire sets. There's this math again, Eliza, about 34 laps per set. I have to see how the cautions fall, see if that helps or hurts these drivers. Also see what kind of strategies play out as the night goes on. But yeah, 100 laps here at MIS. Again, bad fast track. Always love this place, going all the way back to like NASCAR 07, NASCAR 09, over on the Xbox console, or back in console days. Always a big fan, and I'm glad this is the penultimate race, because we get to really heat things up before we get to Atlanta next week.
Absolutely. And just let you guys know, fuel-wise, they do get around 45 laps. We'll see what they can do out there, but with 70 laps going on for our final stage, strategy will come into play here. Again, we'll have to see what kind of cautions come out. But these guys seem to have a nice green flag run, and then sometimes chaos happens in the latter part of the race. We'll find out, but you can see Brendan Book losing it right there and comes up the track and hard into the inside wall. I'm kind of curious what the situation will be like. You can see these guys taking different lines and a lot of contact here in the warm-up.
Yeah, a lot of contact. Brandon just really looked like he tried to save that number 5 machine, and as he turned left, it snapped back right on him, and there was nothing at all that he could do. The car to the outside was just kind of a bit of an innocent bystander. But I'm watching a whole lot of pack racing, a little bit of side drafting going on. Everybody trying to do a little something different, few different lines through each side of the track. Oh, I cannot wait to get this going green.
I hear you. Let's take a look at points before we head to the race. Point standings. We talked about it. Steven Maggio, he is out there in the lead, 1,206 points. 28 points behind is going to be Brody Folliker sitting P2. Jonathan Hernandez about 20 points behind. Brody sitting 3rd. Jimmy Cocker out there with 1156 in points sitting P4. And running out your top 5 is going to be Thomas Harmon, who comes out here tonight with no practice. He said that his plans got canceled tonight, so he was able to come out to race, but unfortunately, no practice.
In these Gen 6 Cup cars, I don't know. Seat time, they say, is one of the biggest benefits that you can get when you're into racing of any sort, virtual or otherwise. So yeah, we'll have to see. But I never ever count the 68 of Tom Harmon out in any race on any given night.
I know. When he told me I had no practice, I said, you'll be up there in no time. I'm not even worried about it. It's Thomas, right. So he knows what he's doing. Very confident driver. You put him in anything, and he can make his way up there. So no worries about having him up there whatsoever. But Jarrett Cardwell up there, P1 on the board in warm-up. Brendan Book in 2nd. Brody Folliker 3rd. Rivers Jones in 4th. And Philip Bridgman rounding out your top 5.
Yeah, then you got Joe Berg right now running P6 in this warm-up with Jimmy Cocker right behind, which, by the way, he finished 2nd last night. Kevin Dallator right now running in 8th with Dave Moransky. He'll be starting on pole this evening, right now running 9th. And Jordan McGraw to round out the top 10. Team FTR driver Jose Ruiz right behind him. Eliza, this 5-minute warm-up is up. Gonna pull up the grid, see what the rest of this lineup's gonna look like, and get ready to fire off the race.
Yeah, how about that? This flew by, and I have a feeling tonight's going to fly by also, but take a look at this for the grid. David Moransky sitting on pole tonight in that 7-Eleven car with Rivers Jones to his outside on row 1. Row 2 is going to be Francis Hamilton in the 48 with Jonathan Hernandez in that 1 car. Row 3, P5 is going to be Jordan McGraw with Matthew Gale to his outside. And in row 4, Joseph Turley in that 13 machine with Jarrett Cardwell in the 12. And in row 5, Matt Sisler in the 45 machine with Philip Bridgman to his outside.
Jimmy Cocker in that number 11, starting at 11th. Have to see if that's any kind of an omen for him. To his outside, the 03 of Jamie Wright to round out the top 12. P13 right now, Josh Taylor in the deuce with Tom Harmon in that 68, starting 14th. 15th, Austin Mitty in the 9 with Brody Falker, our runner-up right now as far as championship points go, but last season's champion firing off 16th. 17th, Joe Berg in the 93 with Steven Maggio in the 51 to his outside. 19th and 20th looks like Jose Ruiz in the 2-3 and Luke Allen in the 7, starting 20th.
Britton Book is going to be 21st with John Honeycutt sitting 22nd. 23rd is going to be William Roberts with Andrew Sanford sitting 24th. And in 25th is Brian Pizzichimi in that 78 machine with Kevin Dallator in that 92 sitting 26th. And that is going to round out your entire field tonight here at Michigan International Speedway. Penultimate race. It is a huge race, one that most drivers look forward to. We'll see if our chase drivers are looking forward to it as this race goes on. We'll see how they do.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how this all fans out. You know, right now they're all racked and stacked. They're 2 by 2 from first all the way back, and I'm kind of curious to see how this is going to work. Usually, the first couple turns they can be a little loose, a little tricky. 7-Eleven, Moransky, he's chosen to start on the bottom to his outside. Is one of our chase contenders in the Izzy and Jay Soapco, number 91, Rivers Jones, Hamilton, Hernandez, and McGraw, the top 5. Eliza, pace cars pulling off. We're going green.
Out to go green for 100 laps here at Michigan International Speedway, and a nice start for that 7-Eleven machine as they go across that line 2 wide all the way through.
Yeah, all the way through. It looks like the 91 got a little bit of help on that high side from Hernandez. Going to try to shove him up in that 3rd lane. Underneath them, you got the 48 of Francis Hamilton. But Mr. Moransky, he was able to get all the way through 1 and 2 by himself. Looks like the 91 may try to pull a little bit of a crossover to the inside. Battle for the lead.
Take a look as this battle for the lead quickly goes to the 91 as he has a run on that low side, going to bring it up high. Francis Hamilton going to be behind David Moransky, and we already have our first caution right when we head to the line. Let's see what happened here. It looks like Joe Berg possibly involved, Jimmy Cocker, and Josh Taylor.
Yeah, I also saw, I think, Matt Sisler in the 45 might have been part of that as well, but he was able to save it just before being forced to go down pit road.
And might have to rewind that a little bit here. We'll have to see, but cars on top of each other here, and we're just not getting a good view.
Oh, wow.
All right, we're going to rewind that a little bit. Trying to see the 45 and the 13. It looks like the 45 gets loose on that seam, goes up, hits the 13. Nowhere for Jimmy Cocker to go, and several other drivers. Unfortunate timing for this incident right here in the 13 into the barrels here at Michigan.
Yeah, I definitely saw the back end of that 45 step out, and as he saved it, it was just unlucky for everybody else behind him.
On board with Jimmy Cocker, and you can see he slows it down for Matt Sisler and just cannot see Joseph Turley coming away across his nose. So unfortunate timing for Jimmy Cocker here.
Yeah, very unfortunate. Again, Jimmy Cocker is one of our chase drivers. So he's going to, even though he's not immediately inside the top three, you'd really have to hope for a few others to have some unfortunate luck as well. But yeah, that took out a few cars. We'll see some definitely come on down pit road and have to spend some time getting repairs. And I mean, I'm seeing everybody from 16th on back down pit road right now.
Yeah, it's a lot of drivers affected right there. I mean, you have these draft tracks where everyone is on top of each other. Not a lot of places to go. I mean, it's a wide track, but that just means you're fitting more drivers across. So if anything happens, we're going to affect a lot more drivers, and you could be one of them.
Absolutely. See some, I think a few of those guys like Luke Allen, Matt Sisler, I don't think he got a whole lot of damage out of that. William Roberts and Andrew Sanford, as well as Kevin Dallator, they are all down and off between 5 and 9 seconds. Jose Ruiz spent about 16 seconds on pit road. Josh Taylor, almost 19 seconds. And Brian Pizzichemi, a little over 38 seconds. John Honeycutt, Joe Turley, Jimmy Cocker, and Austin Mitty continue on pit road getting repairs done.
Brody Folliker gains 4 spots throughout that first lap there, up to P12, while Steven Maggio gains 7 spots. He sits directly in front of him, P11.
Yeah, that battle between those two is going to be pretty fierce tonight, and every point is going to matter. I mean, 28 points that you've got to somehow make up over the course of 2 races. It's going to be tight especially when both of these guys are fast, and Eliza, they are both very, very consistent.
Yeah, they're consistent, they're fast, but I'm a little curious about Brody Folliker. He's had a lot of blinking issues, and even when I was just had my camera on him, he did blink a couple more times. So I'm very curious how that will affect him tonight. He just he does not need that tonight, and I know a lot of the drivers around him. It's going to make them nervous. It's Michigan. It's close. It's these guys are on top of each other, so we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, I mean, they're going to be like this all night long, and you don't get much of a break from it. It is very much a draft track. While it's not Daytona or Talladega, where you're sure to stay inside the pack as long as you don't lose the draft, you could get a little bit of separation here. But if you're quick, you're going to be in the thick of it all night long.
Rivers Jones takes the outside as we're getting ready to go back to green here at Michigan International Speedway. So we'll see what kind of run he is able to get. David Moransky, he's going to be on the low side. So we'll see how his restart goes.
Yeah, number 91, Rivers Jones, going to be able to fire off as soon as he gets to the restart zone. Pace car is off. 34, Jordan McGraw right behind our leader. Francis Hamilton on the bottom side in that 48. Matt Gale fires off from P5. 91's in the box. Green, green, green.
7-Eleven moves up the track, decides to go right behind that 91. Francis Hamilton going to lead that inside row. As the 91 goes down low, he's going to control that lane and take it wherever he needs to go. The 48 close to that 7-Eleven, but these guys are still on the move. Let's keep it going.
Yeah, 7-Eleven and Moransky taking a page out of the 91's book. Last lap before we went yellow, we saw the 91 pull up behind the 7-Eleven, take it low, and get the lead back. Well, Moransky back to the lead, doing exactly what Rivers Jones did before.
We're going to keep our eye out because these seams, they really do get you loose. But that one machine, take a look at the push he is giving that 48 car. Just huge momentum, and he has to back it off as he was making his way to the 7-Eleven up to his bumper. These guys just getting huge runs, but those seams absolutely affect how that car runs. And as you see, they get loose, and incidents can happen.
How about old Jordan McGraw right now in that Team FTR Sega number 34? Very, very fast, and I've kind of been keeping an eye on him coming off the corner. It looks like that car right now is on rails, Eliza. He's been able to stay right behind either the 91 or the 7-Eleven. Doesn't really seem to have any kind of a big push, having to deal with the dirty air. Here he is again trying to stick to the outside, keeping all that the clean air on the nose of that Camaro. Coming off the corner right behind the 91, Jordan McGraw is in the hunt.
Yeah, an early massive run for that 34 machine. Great to see. You know, he's usually hanging out mid-pack at this point, just trying to see where all the cars are going to go, trying to let the chaos happen and then make his way up there. But man, he's already up here, P2, looking solid. But Rivers Jones leading yet another lap as we're on lap 8 of 100. 34 going to go for that lead as he's taken underneath. Doug, I see you out there in chat. What's up? Hope you guys are doing well. Man, take a look. 34, a nose out, but that 91 has that high side momentum. We'll see if he's going to grab that lead back, and it looks to be that he is going to.
Yeah, 34 was able to find a hole right between the 91 and Matt Gale. How about Matt Gale? Gale Force out there in the land of Twitter, or X nowadays, tweets about his race every single week. I'd have to think right now, if this was the finishing lap or finishing position, he'd be pretty happy with the speed and his race so far, as he's got a little bit of a battle from John Hernandez on the inside.
Yeah, you know, I saw Matthew Gale talking and saying, I think I need to be a little bit more aggressive. And if he's doing so tonight, it is definitely working for him. He is a very clean driver. He's out there in the F1 series also. Such a blast to watch. I love that he's up here in the top 3. Now, if he can keep that confidence and consistency, I would love to see him out here in the booth.
Absolutely. Matt Gale now pulling to the inside. They're back 2 by 2. It looks like Jordan McGraw in that Team FTR number 34 was able to lead that lap. Good job, Jordan. Keep it up there. Keep the clean air on the nose of that Camaro. Getting a big push from the 67, 711 of Moransky behind the 91. Then you've got the 48, and I want to say that's the one of Hernandez. So, Eliza, we're back side by side for the most part down the backstretch.
And these guys are just on top of each other. Take a look at our one of our chase drivers in that one machine, Jonathan Hernandez. You just mentioned him. He's got a teammate coming up behind him, the 68 of Thomas Harmon. That is for Output Racing. These guys are just so incredibly tight. It's just going to be like that the entire night. It's Michigan. It's fast. It's a very drafty track, so you have to be sure that you are in that draft. But man, I'll tell you what, it's extremely hard because you want to take it 3-4 wide. You just got to know when to do it and how to make your moves.
Yeah, you really do. You got to be very strategic about everything that you do. You got to make sure that you're in a great line, or you don't overrun the corner or get back in the throttle too quick to where you push up to the wall on exit. Talk about pushing up. Here comes the 48 of Francis Hamilton. We were talking a little bit about him in pre-race, about how he's been very, very consistent, very fast, just needs to put it all together. Well, right now he's behind the 91 of Rivers Jones and just in front of our pole sitter, David Moransky.
Yeah, he's giving a nice shove to that 91, and he's got the 03 Jamie Wright on the inside line there, having a nice momentum. Meanwhile, they are 3 wide. That is going to back about 34. That's going to be Jordan McGraw sitting 11th, and we're going to have a couple of drivers with him, the 93, the 94. So these guys are very, very busy as we speak. And Real, I see you out there. I hope you're doing well. It is Michigan, and it is crazy. These guys are all over the place. It is hot out there.
Yeah, watching a whole lot of side drafting, some almost going wrong. The 03 Wright just about got up into No, it wasn't Moransky. It was another one, too. He was outside. It wasn't the 68 or the 12, but somebody. And kind of sent him back just a little bit. But Eliza, behind are about, what, P6, P7. They're double and a little bit further back, even triple wide. And we talked about that as well. This track will tend to be very, very wide, or it is very, very wide. And we've seen some great finishes out of this place. We've had one caution so far in the first 14, coming to 15 laps next time. And yeah, this racing never disappoints.
On board with Thomas Harmon, you can just see him falling back a little bit. That high side is just where you have to be currently. Just so much momentum coming off the exits there. You just have to pick and choose where you can go, and he's going to take it to that high side. Meanwhile, that 12 machine, Jarrett Cardwell, going to dive down low. He's going to have some help from Jonathan Hernandez in that one machine. And Hernandez, his teammate, Thomas Harmon, he's going to join in behind.
Yeah, the fight that I saw between the side drafting I saw rather was between the 03 and the 67 of Matt Gale. Matt Gale was able to rebound nicely though. You just mentioned Tom Harmon in that frozen 68 machine. He's up on the high side. He's going to have the 67 to his inside, as well as the 12 of JC, Jarrett Cardwell. Cardwell getting a little sideways, able to hold on to it though. Got the 42 of Brody Fowler just behind. Look at that Hornets that's behind that 12.
I mean, we're on lap 15 of 100. It will not calm down anytime soon. This is just how Michigan is. Steven Maggio, let's talk about our points leader, sitting P11. He has stayed exactly where he was before. Now, Brody Fowler, he was up to 7th. He is now down to 19th. I don't know what exactly happened to him. I do know I've seen him blink out a couple of times, so I'm not sure if he's just kind of falling back in order to make sure that he's not affecting anyone's race. But this is sure going to affect his tonight.
Oh, we got a wreck between the 12 of Jarrett Cardwell and Maggio in that Aflac machine.
Man.
Both tied up in the outside wall, both facing the wrong direction. Eliza, this can be huge championship points or championship issue for that number 51.
Like the 12 just got slideways off the nose of the 51. Not sure if there was any contact. We'll have to go back and see if we can find out. But man, just tough for these drivers.
That mid-pack, like I mentioned, that Hornet's nest that was behind the 12 of Jarrett Cardwell. And it was just, I think it was just a matter of time before this happened. I'm not sure if the 42 was a little bit further back, just maybe trying to save tire for a little bit longer in the run, or knowing that we've only got 3 sets, make sure that he had something for the field as we got deeper into this run. But yeah, that's a pretty bad wreck for the 12 and the 51.
Yeah, and let's go in cockpit view here. You can just see he's right behind him. I don't even think that he wanted to go to the side of him, and unfortunately it just turned him right there. All right, second caution of the night, and bad luck continues for Jarrett Cardwell. We'll see how much damage he has. Sits 24th currently, and you see Steven Maggio in that 51 machine. He stays out, which I'm a little surprised, but there he is. So he must not be affected too much by that damage.
I would hope. I mean, that would be great. That would be best case scenario for the 51. Or was he not paying attention? I don't want to say that, but maybe didn't realize, I should say, that pit road was open that time. But Brody Fowler right now looks like he also stayed out. He moves up to P6, up 10 spots. Looks like the biggest mover of all these guys that stayed out was the 37 for Andrew Sanford, up 19 spots to P5.
Absolutely insane. A lot of movers tonight, but man, Calamity Corner, here we go at Michigan. I mean, a lot of drivers are affected in these wrecks, and I see Jose Ruiz, he is on pit lane. Joseph Turley, who was involved in a different incident earlier on, he is on pit lane. And of course, Jarrett Cardwell, who was involved, there he sits. Austin Mitty, very unhappy. You can see that I don't even think he's in the race anymore. He had 9 minutes of damage.
Wow. Yeah, I look back on the number 51 for Maggio, trying to take a look at his front end damage. It's actually not too bad. I'm gonna guess maybe he was on the brakes a lot of that, so he didn't get a ton of damage. It looks like the front end of that Toyota Camry looks pretty good.
Yeah, it does. It looks very intact. I don't see a lot going on there, so he definitely lucked out with that. But Francis Hamilton, in the meantime, it looks like he is going to be leading us back to green with Jamie Wright and that 03 going to be to his side out there coming to lap 20. So we'll see how that goes. But Joe Berg going to be P3 out here. Philip Bridgman, who I feel like, he's kind of making his way up through the field each week. I've seen him making his way up there, but he sits in the top 5 currently. Andrew Sanford in P5, and Combat Beast says, iRacing being iRacing, I gotta reinstall iRacing. I just spoke to him before the lobby was about to go green for the race, and he said, I don't think I can get in. and changed his mind. He said, I'm pretty sure I'm good to go, and apparently not so much.
Yeah, for anybody out there, Combat Beast, Connor Cunningham, usual driver of the 3 here in the Shake and Bake Series. So unfortunate that you missed it, Connor, but we'll see you next week at Atlanta, hopefully for the season finale, sir.
Yeah, we'll be headed to Atlanta. Or should I? Well, it's going to be the Legacy, so it's going to be Atlanta, but they changed the track name. Kind of crazy.
I didn't hear that part. Okay.
Didn't they to Echo? Or am I making that up? Is that some other track?
No, it could very well be, and I just hadn't heard that.
Yeah. They even changed it on iRacing already. I mean, they were pretty quick on that.
All right, so pace car's going to go ahead and pull up. Francis Hamilton, as you mentioned, in that Detroit Tigers number 48. He is the control car. Jamie Wright to his outside. Joe Berg, Philip Bridgman, and Andrew Sanford, the top 5. We're going back green. Here we go, Eliza.
Cars pretty well spread out. Brody Folliker blinking in and out. Just not a good thing to see. 3 wide mid-pack, and that is going to be Jonathan Hernandez. The 7 of Luke Allen and Josh Taylor going to be on that high side in that 2 machine. Meanwhile, everyone else seems to be too wide as they're making their way through the field.
Yeah, it looks like the 24 possibly. 24 Philip Bridgman. Little bit of slideways, a little tail happy coming off 1 and 2 all the way down the backstretch through 3 and 4, looking pretty steady. 3 wide right now for P3, 24-42, and the 90. Nope, that's not the 51 of Maggio. It wasn't the 91. Not 100% sure who that was. It might have been Joe Berg.
4 wide as they're making their way around into turn 1. These guys are just not leaving anything out on the track. I mean, they're all over the place, and I see another driver into the wall. Can we keep it green? It's going to be Philip Bridgman in that 24 machine. We are still green, but unfortunately
for P2.
Oh, man, let's bring it back up here. These guys are crazy. A lot on the line. I mean, this is for the championship. This race and the next race going to determine a lot. The chase is on, and these guys have brought their A game.
Oh, yeah, at a place like Michigan where anything will and can happen, usually right in front of you because of the draft nature of this track. You've got to be on your game. Your neck's got to be on a swivel all night long. Jonathan Hernandez able to find his way up to the front, so that number 1 car leading the way right now, but he does have a little bit of a challenge from the 91 of Rivers Jones in that Izzy and Jay Soapcoke Ford Mustang. It looks like he's going to be able to lead that one, denying the 1 a point for leading a lap.
You know, Pete, I think we need a Rivers Jones win. He's one of those drivers where it's going to happen, but I think it needs to happen sooner than later. He has phenomenal speed. We just need to get him there in the end. But, man, what a great run for Rivers Jones out here. MJ, I see you in chat. I hope you're doing well. Combat says I might make it on track since I'm registered, and he did say it is Echo Park.
Okay, Echo Park. Interesting.
No.
Let's talk about Rivers Jones. He actually did make it to the. He got a podium finish last week from Homestead. I want to say it was either 2nd or 3rd, but yeah, great race for him last week. Maybe a little bit of a building race for him. I have to see how he finishes tonight. We've seen him leading many races throughout the season. Very fast, very consistent. He's kind of like Jarrett Cardwell every now and then, where he gets wrapped up in somebody else's instance and ends up with an unfortunate result. But you never count this guy out. Just like the guy sitting 3rd right now, Tom Harmon. He's now up 11 spots, mostly by positions that he's picked up out here on track to his outside. See Matt Sisler, and how about John Honeycutt right now, up to P6, up 16 spots.
Yeah, I was saying we're not going to see a lot of drivers get away, but their top 5 drivers, they've gotten away. And meanwhile, the second pack is led by John Honeycutt in that Superman paint scheme. Love that scheme. But man, he has made such a huge comeback, up 16 spots, along with William B. Roberts sitting right behind him in that 94 machine. 16 spots gained, sitting P7, and Brian Pizzichemi sitting up 17 spots, sitting P8.
Yeah, Brian Pizzichemi takes the challenge every single week to start in the back, whether it's tonight or Sunday night. I'm not quite sure. I don't remember what he's like on Wednesday or Thursday night in ARP, but he does a great job. I want to say that he does it to build his track awareness skills. I'm not 100% sure, but Pizzichemi's strong every single week.
Absolutely. A new leader, David Moransky, and we're coming up on lap 30, which means the conclusion of lap 30 is going to be the end of stage 1. We'll see who takes those top 10 points here. But man, these guys are just going at it. Jonathan Hernandez leading the field currently on lap 27. And we have 2 cars on that inside. It's going to be David Moransky, our pole sitter, and the 68 of Thomas Harmon. And he moves up the track. And James, I see you out there. We would love to have you. We do have a couple of license requirements we do have. And thank you for the follow. Third caution of the night, lap 27. So that will probably be the conclusion of stage 1.
Well, if that is the case, Jonathan Hernandez, he's going to go ahead and take max points from stage 1. Definitely needed that. Came into tonight's race third in points, just about 48 points behind the leader. So this definitely helps him, considering Maggio right now all the way back in 23rd. And I was just looking for the 42. Brody Falker finished 9th in stage number 1.
Steven Maggio involved in that. You can see him side by side with Jimmy Cocker. Jimmy comes off of that wall right there and runs into the 51, and the 51 spins out, taps a little bit on that left rear, but man, I don't see any damage. I know it's got to incur a little bit of damage, but he is lucking out tonight as far as damage goes. Not so much just on the incident.
That was great driving by him to be able to hold it down, lock it down, grab a gear, and get off the wall the way that he did. Great job by Maggio.
Absolutely. All right, so if this is indeed the end of stage 1, Jonathan Hernandez will take those 10 bonus points. Rivers Jones in second, Matt Sisler third, Thomas Harmon fourth, David Moransky, he stays out, but he would have been fifth. But you can see a lot of drivers going down pit lane. We can get around 45 laps of fuel. So far, we haven't needed it, Pete.
No, so far we haven't with the third caution on the evening. Dave Moransky, as you mentioned, stayed out. Last time he was on pit road was lap 17. The same thing for John Honeycutt as he decided to stay out. Both of them were in on lap 17. They both had a pit time of just about 14 and a half seconds. So that tells me for Brand New Eagle Feel Goods, and they went ahead and topped it off. So looks like Jonathan Hernandez, Rivers Jones, and Matt Sisler will be the top 3 out of the pits. And it's going to be interesting to see what the top 2 are like on those tires when we go back green to start stage 2.
All right, let's bring Mr. John Honeycutt up here in the booth. John, it's Eliza. How you doing out there?
Good. What's going on?
Oh, man, you've had a wild race. We've seen you pretty much all over the place making your way up through the track. You're up 20 positions. How's the track conditions currently?
It's kind of tight, and it's mostly tight. I think a lot of guys are getting loose because they're having to really put more input into the steering wheel, which is snapping loose off the corners. But it's pretty tight, especially in the pack. So, yeah, I think we're in a good position. The car's fast. I feel very comfortable, and I think I should have gone in for some fuel, but we'll see where this goes. I did go in for tires on that last pit stop, so I was able to kind of get through the field pretty quickly. But we'll see how it goes from here.
See how it winds out. But man, you've had a great run so far. How difficult is it to make those passes?
It can be once everybody is on level playing field with the wear on the tires. If you could maintain the momentum on the outside, I think the outside's the way to go. You just lose way too much forward momentum on the bottom lane, and you just don't have enough power in these engines on this Gen 6 car to maintain that speed down the straightaway. Even if you're trying to side draft, you get freight trained on the outside. So outside's key.
Yeah, we've absolutely seen that so far tonight. We'll see how it goes moving forward, but I think that's going to be the story. But a lot of luck to you moving forward. You're looking strong out there. Hopefully we'll see you in the booth.
We'll see. All right, you guys take care.
All
Good
right.
luck, bud.
Good luck.
All right, you heard it there from John Honeycutt. A strong run from him so far, up 20 spots. David Moransky sits where he started. He started on pole, and he sits, he's currently sitting out in first, leading us back to green, coming up to 31. So, it is just going to be really, really tight. These cars are not going to get away from each other, Pete.
No, it seems like Moransky definitely loves this track. Very, very fast. Able to stay inside the top 5 all night long. Pace car is off. We're going back green. 7-11, 50, 91, 1, and the 68 of Tom Harmon are the top 5. 50 spins him a little bit there on the restart. He's got the one of Hernandez right behind to pick him up, but that's going to bog down the bottom line. High side's off and running.
Yeah, you heard from him that high side is just so incredibly strong, and it's important that you get your car up there. I mean, the momentum coming off the exits is everything. If you're stuck down there, it is just nowhere to go. You can see the 48 pushing that 42 machine on that low side. He might make up a position or two, but he's going to struggle until he can make his way up to that high side.
Talk about making up a position or two. Here comes the 68 of Tom Harmon. Pulled it down low behind the 91. He's way down on the apron. It was a drag race all the way to the line. There were 2x2 on the opposite sides of the track. Now 3 wide, coming into turn 1 and 2. 91 of Rivers Jones leading the bottom. Here comes the 42 of Brody Falker. 68 in the middle. 1 of Hernandez guiding it all up by the wall. But Eliza, they are 2 and 3 wide behind our top 3 and top 4.
Yeah, you can just see these guys just all over the track trying to hold it together as they are 2, 3, 4 wide. And it's going to be like this the entire race. This is the penultimate race. It's so incredibly important for these chase drivers. Our top 5 chase drivers. So you know that they are fighting for every last point, every last position, every last stage point that they can get. And so far, they've done an amazing job, but man, it has been chaos in some of these corners.
Well, I'll tell you what, right now at the 42 of Brody Falker, he's done something that Maggio has not yet been able to do, and that's lead a lap. Falker has Francis Hamilton in that Detroit Tigers 48 machine right behind him. Right now, it looks like I just saw the 51 Maggio. He's actually gaining spots. He's been doing so right in the middle. He's been able to pull up to P4. Maggio, we just talked about him. He was backwards on the inside wall at the end of that caution. He's back up inside the top 5 and trying to push right along.
Yeah, I mean, it just goes to show what a strong driver Steven Maggio is. I mean, he has been everywhere in the field, gotten knocked out around twice, and he is currently sitting 4th. Brody Falker and Francis Hamilton, these two have checked out. They now have a second gap over the drivers behind them, over a second gap. So if these two can get away and it can stay green, that's exactly what they want to see. But man, oh man, they do not want to see a caution come out right now.
No, not at all. Working lap 35. Those two, like you said, a good second and a half over Steven Maggio. Rivers Jones back there right up his back door. Here comes the 03 of Jamie Wright and the 1 of Hernandez. They're all side by side. This is exactly what the top 2 need to see in their rear view. Them fighting, swapping positions, doing everything that they got to do. Because as long as they're not nose to tail and breaking the draft between them, they're not making time.
On board with Steven Maggio sitting P3, and that 51 machine, you can see Jamie Wright directly behind him. Cars just fanning out everywhere, trying to find a place they can put that car in to gain a spot. I mean, they're just going for everything. You see cars going from the low side to the high side and vice versa. Wherever they can go, they are going to take it. But man, oh man, these top 2 drivers just doing a fantastic job. I don't know how they managed to get away, but here they are.
Yeah, isn't it interesting, Eliza? You look from third on back. All race long, for the first 30-plus laps, we saw them all 2, 3, sometimes 4 wide. But as soon as a couple of cars line up and they check out, it's like something that's written in driver code. When you see something like that happen, stop fighting, get in line, let's go.
Brennan Book, Luke Allen, Joe Berg, 3 wide currently. That is for P5, just trying to take it again anywhere that they can. 37 of 100 laps. We are still very much on the move. 45 laps, they can go on to fuel tank. Most of these drivers did decide to go in, get fresh tires, fuel, you name it. But man, they are very much in this fight. Brody Folliker, our leader, we've seen him blink out a couple of times, which has got to make Francis a little nervous. That gap is starting to close just a little bit, Pete, from Francis Hamilton, who's sitting second, to Steven Maggio, our points leader, in third.
Yeah, Maggio right now, 1.9, now just hitting that 2-second mark. You talk about going down pit road. John Honeycutt, he chose to stay out before. He's fallen all the way back to P16. Dave Moransky, he also stayed out. He's fallen all the way back to P12. Able to hold on a little bit more due to that draft. Right now tucked right up behind the 91 of Rivers Jones. Tom Harmon down low. There's the 23 of Jose Ruiz. How about Ruiz right now? Up 6 spots to P13, trying to get into that top 10. He's one of those drivers I look for each and every week for a solid finish. He's one of those quiet drivers, Eliza. You don't even know that he's there until it's too late.
Yeah, we just spoke to John Honeycutt, who was in second on that restart. He's currently 16th. It just goes to show that when you're on that inside line, you can move back very, very quickly. And here he is trying to make his way back through the field. He said that he did not go in. He might be regretting it. We'll find out shortly. But Staka, what's up? I hope you're doing well. He says, Brody, not worried yet. If Hamilton was thinking overtake, he would veer left, not right. Yeah, for now, these two are teammates. They're just helping each other. 48 knows the 42 is going to go for his second championship in a row. If he's my teammate, I'm going to do all I can to help him until that final lap.
Yeah, 48, very, very smart. Chooses a line just a little bit wider than the 42. That way he's not tucked in that dirty air, and also gets a great run off the corner. So these two can continue to run nose to tail all the way through turns 3 and 4, same as 1 and 2. 48 again, going just a little bit higher, not to get bogged down by all that dirty air, possibly make some contact with the wall up and off the corner. These two, they were at 2 seconds over Maggio the last we were talking about them. Now, right now, just about 1.5. So they've closed up by about a half second so far. You got to wonder if the 42 and 48 are pushing, or are they already in race management mode thinking about those tires? Meanwhile, Maggio has just got to be on the charge.
Not sure what happened to Kevin Dallator, but he is off the track now, getting back on. Not sure if he just got loose, but we are still green, luckily, as we are heading around. Steven Maggio, 1.5 seconds behind our leader out here. He is our points leader, 6 wins this season. Brody Folliker has half of those. He's got 3 wins. It is just coming down to the wire here. Absolutely insane. Jamie Wright giving him a shove right there. I see you, Maddie. Maddie, I don't know if you saw, but David Moransky, he got on pole. He's led a couple laps out here. Did a fantastic job. Currently sits on pit lane, though.
Same as the leaders up front, both Brody Folliker and Francis Hamilton. Well, it looks like Maggio was able to pick up his teammate, the 03 of Wright. So we got teammates really helping each other out to get back up or keep the lead. P5 right now is going to be Brendan Book. Brendan Book up 16 spots in his Cincinnati machine. Right behind him is going to be the 93 of Joe Berg, Josh Taylor, Andrew Sanford, Luke Allen, and Jordan McGraw to round out the top 10. Eliza, this looks like it's getting pretty strung out.
Yeah, these guys are starting to go in a single file line, trying to conserve those tires at this point. Obviously, we're getting a nice green flag run here. Jordan McGraw, who we saw lead a couple of laps, he sits in the top 10 currently. Jose Ruiz, kind of on his own little island, leading this next pack, but he sits 11th. Thomas Harmon sitting P12. Rivers Jones, who we saw out in the front, he sits currently 13th with John Honeycutt right behind it in 14th. And Jonathan Hernandez, he's third in points. He sits 15th.
Yeah, 16th right now is going to be the 45, and Matt Sisler had a little bit of an issue earlier, but right now sitting just behind mid-pack. Brian Pizzicemi in that 78 is sitting 17th. 18th is going to be William Roberts in the number 94 Chevrolet. The 11 of Jimmy Cocker started 11th right now, finds himself in 19th. Both him and the 51 Amaggio did make some contact earlier. Not quite sure if he's got a little bit of damage. Matt Gale, who we saw up inside the top 5 earlier, right now finding himself in P20. And then you've got Jarrett Cardwell, definitely had some damage after him and the 51 made contact, finds himself 21st, looked pretty promising earlier. Joe Turley down 15 spots, 22nd. 23rd is going to be Kevin Dallator, who we just saw coming back up on track. Philip Bridgman, Dave Moransky, and Austin Mitty rounds out our 26 car field.
All right, let's take it back up to the front. Defending champ Brody Folliker sits as your leader. Coming up to 46 of 100. He's got his teammate Francis Hamilton directly behind, but that gap, it is closing. Stephen Maggio making his way up there. He's got a gaggle of cars directly behind him, including teammates Jamie Wright and that 03. These guys just trying to go single file line, catching up to the top 2 drivers, and it looks as though they are doing it.
Yeah, pretty much the 03 is doing what the 48 is and just choosing a different line, getting back in line. But there are more cars in this second pack than just the top 2, so they're going to catch them. It's like a 2-car tandem at Daytona or Talladega versus a 7 or 8 car train that you'd see behind them. Eventually that second pack is going to catch them. But the 51, how about it? I mean, he's pulling away from the 03 just a little bit. Right now it kind of looks like he might have the draft of the 48 just barely to where he's able to start pulling himself up. Now just hit that 1 second mark.
Kind of curious how much dirty air is affecting these drivers, but I'll tell you what, you said it, Pete. Stephen Maggio just doing a fantastic job out here. He's been involved in 2 incidents tonight. Damage apparently just hasn't really affected him, but here he is, P3 up 15 spots where he started, along with our leader, Brody Folliker. He is up 15 spots, but that gap is closing, and I'm kind of curious, is Brody being affected by tires wearing out? We'll see, but Stephen Maggio, very consistent, and he is great on those long runs.
Absolutely. Everybody inside the top 15 was the last on pit road, lap 28. So they've all been on track now for 20 laps as the 03, Jamie Wright, plugs that outside wall just a little bit. Joe Berg had to kind of swerve to avoid him. That might cost the 51 and the 5 just a little bit of time. But Joe Berg right there able to stay in the draft, maybe try to pull the 2 of Josh Taylor, as well as the 37 of Andrew Sanford and the 7 of Luke Allen back up into the mix. The 51 needs these guys to pick back up on it because now he's back over a second, back to 1.2 behind Falliker and Hamilton.
Yeah, that 5 car is going to have to catch up and help him out, or he may just say, hey, you know, I'm a chase driver also. I want to get my spot and see how it goes. We'll see what happens here, but I think for now, these guys are just going to stay single file, try to make their way up to the top 2 drivers, and you can see him giving them a nice nudge as they are about a second and 3/10 behind. We'll see what happens, but Stacka says the Detroit Tigers special of Francis Hamilton on the prowl, and you can see him right there. Doing a great job out here tonight. Top 6 drivers are chase drivers. Very, very close.
Caution is out for the 4th time this evening. Looks like William Roberts may have something to say about this one. But yeah, you read my mind. I was thinking the top 6 drivers, all chase drivers, working lap 50. I have to see, I believe that everybody will come on down for a brand new set and top off and get ready for the second half.
I don't know what you see, but I just see him coming to a stop on the track, and it called out a caution. There wasn't actually a wreck, so really, really unfortunate to see that come out. I know these guys did not want that to come out, so you know, it's one of those things you hate to see that happen.
Yep, I just got the. Well, yeah, we'll leave that one lie as it is. I got nothing. But yeah, it looks like Brody Faliker getting picked up by the pace car, 48 right there with him. This is not what the 42 Brody Faliker wanted to see. I'm sure he wanted this to stay green, considering the gap that they were starting to regain on the 51 and company. So I imagine everybody will come on down pit road this time by, grab 4 brand new Eagle Feel Goods, and get ready for the second half of this 100 lapper here from Michigan.
I would have loved to see that go green, Pete, but nonetheless, here we are, and we'll see who goes down pit lane. Maybe Brody was looking forward to it, getting fresh tires, but man, that's going to stack him, and as we've seen so far, it gets pretty chaotic. Everyone going 3-4 wide, trying to go for those positions, so as much as you want a caution if your tires are wearing out, you don't, because it just gets so chaotic.
Yeah, everybody carrying max speed all the way to their pit stall. This whole pit road entrance, carrying top speed all the way to your stall, hitting your stall perfectly. Don't short the box. Don't slide through it. Take what you need and get out as quick as you can by grabbing a gear and don't spinning the tires. I mean, it is literally a whole dance. Getting on and off pit road. It really has to go well. You have to make sure that the signboard lands on your hood. You get out and get gone. Looks like the 51 and 42, they're going to have a great drag race off of pit road. Ahead of those guys is going to be nobody. So there are 2 main title contenders right now. They are going to be second and third. Looks like Jordan McGraw with a pit time of 8.4, able to beat everybody out of the pits.
A little strategy being played here. So Brody coming out in second, Steven Maggio in third, Brendan Book fourth, and Joe Berg going to round out your top 5. But it is going to be Jordan McGraw. He will be leading us back to green coming up in the next restart.
All right, Elias, I got to wonder what he did here. Fuel only, right sides, left sides. Wonder what's up old J-Back's sleeve.
Kind of curious here. Let's see. Let's have a chat with them and see what's going on. Gordon, it's Eliza in the booth. How you doing out there?
I'm doing good.
All right, tell us your strategy. You had a little bit of strategy, got you in the lead here.
I would like the top. Yeah, I don't know. Just I didn't want to take that set of tires, so I'm gonna do the really stupid thing and stay out in front of everyone. And yeah, this will probably be really scary, but you know what? Maybe I won't crash here. We're kind of close on fuel. Maybe we'll be able to do something here. I don't know.
Well, you seem to have a lot of speed, so very good to watch. I wish you a ton of luck moving forward, but strategy-wise, we'll see how it plays out for you. Hopefully it goes well.
Yeah, maybe we can fall back to the field, and then they can crash, and we can dodge it, and then we can put on the set of tires, or drive in a little slower on a little older tires. I can save some fuel because I think you can barely make it from here. So we'll see.
It'll be close for sure. All right, I wish you luck in the race moving forward. Hopefully we'll see you in the booth.
Yes, ma'am, and sir.
Good luck, buddy.
All right, you heard it from Jordan McGraw there for FTR, doing a great job. Brody Faliker going to be on his inside. A lot of these drivers, they are taking that outside line. It is just so incredibly dominant out here. Combat says taking 2 tires, bold strategy move, Cotton.
I'm really going to be curious to see how this works out for J-Mac when John Honeycutt and Dave Moransky stayed out on 17-lap old tires, or 17-lap different tires than everybody else. They went to the back, and both the 50 and I think the 711 really spun them, if I'm not mistaken. So I'm hoping that J-Mac can get a great launch here, and as the control car should be able to get up and get through the gears. As we go back green, we're about to find out. No real big issue from him. He's got Brendan Book right behind, able to carry some speed up and through. Good job by J-Mac.
Absolutely. Now the real test is going to be what's it going to be in the next 5 to 10 laps. I think we're going to see him fall back a little bit, and it's not what you want to see, but It's a strategy call, and here we go. 3 wide for the lead. The number 5 on the outside. We're going to have Jordan McGraw in the sucker hole. That's going to be right dead center. Not exactly where you want to be.
No, not at all. But he did it in a very, very predictable way. He got into that second groove and let the seas part to his inside and to his outside. Great move. Way to be heads up all the way to the back now. As it looks like he's going to find himself in P15, right ahead of his Team FTR teammate John Honeycutt, and I believe it's going to be the 78 of Brian Pizzicami underneath. Good job by J-Mac.
Jamie Wright making contact with the car above him, almost losing it right there. Managed to hold on to it, but man, it is so sketchy out there currently. But Brendan Book still leading the field. Josh Taylor going to take it down to the inside. He takes over that lead with the huge momentum push. We're going to have 42 on the inside of that 5 car. We'll see if he takes over that second spot. But Steven Maggio, there he is currently sitting P4.
Josh Taylor, our Bristol winner from earlier in the season, able to pull a big old, I don't know if you want to call it a power move or not, but underneath the 5 of Brendan Book, now they're side by side. Book tried to look to the inside, wasn't able to do that. Gets a little tight up and off the corner with the 51 of Maggio right behind. But yeah, Josh Taylor able to keep that lead down the backstretch into turns 3 and 4. 93 of Berg behind the 51 of Maggio. Tom Harmon right now holding on to the top 5 just ahead of Rivers Jones.
9 of our top 10 drivers are, in fact, chase drivers. Luke Allen not, and then Jamie Wright is going to move right up in that mix as Jimmy Cocker going to move back a little bit. But, man, extremely tight, but Josh Taylor going to keep that lead as we move on into turn 2, coming out on the backstretch.
Yeah, Josh Taylor throwing it way down on that white line through 1 and 2. Meanwhile, the 551 and that whole train behind him, kind of that second to third groove up. It's going to be interesting to see. In any of the races that I've broadcasted or spotted for, it usually seems like the second groove up off the bottom, or just above that first seam, usually tends to be the fastest. You don't have to put that extra wheel in it to wrap the line, and you can carry a little bit of momentum as well. But yeah, looks like everybody's got a couple different lines as the 2 continues to go all the way back down. 5 running that seam I was just talking about, the same as Maggio and the 93 of Berg.
Yeah, the 2, he's got it going. He can take it wherever he needs to take it. That low line and as much track as you can use is going to be beneficial. Now, the drivers behind, if that draft is affecting them and that dirty air is going to change the way their car drives, they're just going to try to look for any clean air that they can and take it wherever they can. But Brendan Book making his way up to the back bumper of that 2 machine, giving a nice shove. But top 8 drivers are chase drivers, and so far they're keeping it extremely clean. And as David says, that 42 is blinking. I'm a little nervous for Brody. I hate it when our chase drivers or previous champion drivers are struggling with blinking issues. Absolutely detrimental to their run.
42 blinking right behind the 91 and right ahead of the 03 of Wright. I mean, these chase drivers, it looks like it's orange banner after orange banner after orange banner all the way back through. And this is why they're in that chase, because they're consistently up front. As Joe Berg, he went ahead and threw it way low underneath the 2 of Josh Taylor. That number 93, he's going to go ahead and look at leading a lap. The 5 of Brendan Book and the 68 of Tom Harmon all in tow. But Joe Berg now with the clean air.
Yeah, how about that for Joe Berg? Love his paint scheme. He does an amazing job. Has got his own show out there on YouTube. You guys should look it up and give him a follow if you can.
Absolutely.
Yeah, he's so much fun. Such a great guy, but good to see him out there leading a lap. 61 of 100. I would love to see a Joe Berg win also, Pete.
Oh, absolutely. I think the guys definitely overdue. They're double wide behind him, and then 3 wide behind the second row. That consists of the 91, the 68, as Harmon drops back just a little bit, and then I think that's going to be possibly Pizzichemi. Nope, it's going to be the one of Hernandez. So everybody's all stacked up behind Berg. 2 led a couple laps. The 5 was able to get up there. One thing that Maggio has not yet been able to do to tie that point deficit is lead a lap. But Eliza, it's still somewhat early.
It is somewhat early. We still have plenty of racing left, and these guys are still going 3 wide, almost 4. So plenty of positions left to be had, and these guys just kind of fanning out, trying to stay off of each other, because you do break loose, as you heard Honeycutt say. These guys are breaking loose, as it is difficult to turn the car, and when you're coming off that corner, it tends to fishtail on you, and that's affecting some of these drivers. But you see Jimmy Cocker, he's exactly where he started, P11 for that 11 machine.
Yeah, he's got the one of Hernandez right behind him, about to have a battle up front. Looks like Brendan Book and Maggio, they're now side by side. Book is trying to get on up there behind the 93 to take a shot at the lead. The 2 of Josh Taylor right behind him, then the 42 of Brody Fowler. Fowler now side by side with the 51. He's going to go ahead and pull low underneath the 5. The 42 wants the clean air back on the nose of his Camaro.
See that 42 coming up to his side. Unfortunately, that high side just has so much momentum. I'm not sure how much the 42 is going to be able to do without help. Here comes help, though, the 51 on his rear car. He's got the 68 in tow, along with Luke Allen in that 7. And you can see he's going to get a nice run out. So Joe Berg still holding on to it. 42 trying to find his way in line. He takes it to the high side. Josh Taylor, he dives it down to the inside.
And Josh Taylor, I tell you, that 42 came on up right in front of the 2. Josh might have thought that the 42 was going to go ahead and plug the wall, so he made an immediate left turn, and it ends up side by side. 51 and the 91, they're side by side, right along with the 68. And how about Jose Ruiz right now, up 12 spots to P number 7, the same amount as Maggio. Here comes that McDonald's Toyota.
Yeah, I don't want to jinx him, but yeah, super happy for him. He's just had terrible luck this season. So it's great to see him up here. Knock on wood, let's hope we keep him up here and get him a good finish. But you can see him, that high side is just so incredibly strong, making their way by that low side. You can see Josh Taylor, though, getting a phenomenal run on that low side, along with that 68, but that high side is just strong tonight.
Yeah, usually at Michigan and Auto Club, when you come off the corner, you're down on the apron, then you'll let the car guide back up towards the outside wall. You make the arc into 1 and 2, and then again on the other end, down the back stretch wall. Arc it into turn 3, let it eat up towards the outside wall at the exit of 4, and you get back down towards the apron again, coming across the start stripe. This is so unorthodox for Michigan. It's like the power line is up high. There's nothing really going on the bottom. Or could it be, Eliza, just the car that's leading them? Where are they? That's where the clean air is. Is that really where the fast line is? I would have to say so, judging by where most of the cars are.
Yeah, I feel like these cars are so tight tonight, and if you plant yourself on that seam, it just kind of carries your car around. And I say that, and I don't see a lot of drivers doing that, but that is what I found in practice, that you just kind of plant yourself on that seam and it carries you around that mid to high line. But I think these guys are just going wherever they can that's going to take them to a better position. And you see David Mariansky out in chat says, at least I was fast. David, what happened to you?
Yep, at least you're fast. Led some laps, starting on pole. Good job, Polish.
Take a look at this Hornet's Nest in the front. Right behind Joe Berg is just doing a phenomenal job, getting a nice push by Brennan Book behind him. The 68 trying to do something on that low line, and they are going to be 3 wide. He makes contact, has to keep it off of there. Great save by that 68. That could have been absolutely catastrophic, as that would have affected a lot of cars. And I say that And here we go, the 23 into the wall as I don't even know what happened. Something happened with Brendan Book, I think. Have to take a look.
Oh, that was a hard shot for Jose Ruiz.
Yeah,
Oh.
I'm telling you, the jinx, you know, it's tough out there. It is tough.
I hope he let go of that wheel.
I would say.
Oh, my God. Jesus, take the wheel. That was a hard shot.
It's like these guys were just nose to tail all the way through. Contact being made, just getting Brendan Book loose, holds on to it. But since these guys are just on top of each other, accordion effect.
Yeah, very, very tough. Very unfortunate for Jose.
Gotta be very, very frustrated. You see him once again crab walking, no rear end on that machine, no front end, and he's limping it to pit lane completely sideways.
Yeah, that Happy Meal's not so happy anymore.
I think that is a very sad meal. Very sad meal.
Very sad meal. Very soggy French fries.
Yeah.
I gotta stop. I'm sorry.
You know, I laugh. I feel for Jose. I feel for
Yeah.
Jose.
I mean, he's drifting all the way through and not even on purpose. All right, so it looks like coming down pit road, the field is pretty much split. 93 of Joe Berg brings the 5 of Brendan Book and the 91 of Rivers Jones right along with them. Meanwhile, Brody Falliker and Steven Maggio are 2 points leaders. They decide to stay out. Last time they were on pit road was lap 51. Same thing with Luke Allen and John Honeycutt. So working lap 70, these guys are going to have a 19 lap difference than what they had before. Very interesting. I mean, John Honeycutt saw the way that this played out the last time he stayed out. Brody Falliker and Steven Maggio, both of them very fast. Luke Allen's been up inside the mix, just slightly outside of the top 5, top 10, but nevertheless, a very fast number 7 Columbia machine.
All right, let's have a chat with Brody Falliker, sitting current leader so far in the race. Brody, it's Eliza in the booth. How you doing out there?
Yeah, I'm going to the back. I guess I have to claim that one.
Oh.
Yeah.
All right. So, yeah, that changes things for sure.
Yeah, I guess you can still ask me what, I don't know. I'm assuming you want to know about the tires.
I do. I want to know about it all. Tell me.
There's only 3 sets of tires out here. I have
Right.
one left. I'm assuming a lot of people just took their last set. I think the 51 still has a set. I think Jim should still have a set. He didn't take tires until lap 50. So Jim, I think for tires, he's the best. You know, I don't know if he took tires right there, but
We just
we'll have
saw him
one at
head
least
on
too.
pit road. Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah, I think
We're
he's
gonna
topping off or something.
see you go to the back. I guarantee we'll see you back up there. But man, how's the race been so far out on track? Tight, loose? What are we seeing?
It's definitely tight. The air is horrible. You cannot drive up to the back of one of these cars. Whenever Frank and I pulled away, obviously we got lucky on that restart and was able to gap the field and get away from the field. But you know, he was really struggling staying with me, especially going down the backstretch. So, you know, I'm getting told that it wasn't. I don't know. It was too close. I didn't want to give up points if it was me, so I played it safe. Saved. We still have a set right here. We're gonna be slow on this restart, I'm assuming. So, hopefully we get a caution with like 15 to go and can put those boys to use. So,
Absolutely.
yeah.
We'll see what happens, but good luck to our defending champ from last season. You got this.
Thank you.
All right, you heard it there from Brody Falliker. Man, tough call. Get sent to the back. You know, we haven't talked about that much, but if you are found at fault for a caution, or you think you're at fault for a caution, you have to call that out and you will receive an EOL. Move to the back of the pack. If you do not, Pete, and you are found at fault, you will receive a 10-point penalty. And as he said, he did not want to take that chance and chose to go to the rear.
Well, the good thing is he's got a very fast car. It's just unfortunate that now he's in the back on some old tires. Steven Maggio, he's hard on the throttle. No rear slippage for him. Rivers Jones right there. Last time he was on pit road was lap 69. So right with this caution, Rivers Jones, Luke Allen in that number 7. He also stayed out. So both him and the 51 trying to, stay somewhat competitive in this field. But look at the 42 of Brody Falliker. Started in the back. He's already to the inside of the 45 of Sisler, coming up with his buddy in that Detroit Tigers number 48. Going to try to gain some time back, but those tires are just going to get more and more worn as the laps roll on.
Yeah, he's sitting P12 currently, but he's got a lot of ways to go. You can see Jimmy Cocker take it from the high side to the low side, trying to make his way up there, perhaps trying to help his teammate up there as Brody is blinking out, but he's made his way to the rear of Brody Falliker and up around. These guys are just on top of each other, Pete. This is absolutely insane.
Yeah, the one of Hernandez up and off turn number 2, completely smacked the outside wall. Saw the 34 of Jordan McGraw really have to take a little bit of evasive maneuver to make sure that he didn't get involved in that. With the momentum taken away from the 1, the 34 is able to get on by. Jordan McGraw now battling inside the 91 of Rivers Jones for P number 4. The 48 of Francis Hamilton going to the lead, taking that number 1 spot from the 51 of Maggio. So those that have come in on lap 69 are running at 1-2. Maggio now back to P3. Rivers Jones sitting 4th, and John Hernandez rounds out our top 5.
Now, we haven't talked about this much in a while, but this is the chase. There is no resetting of points coming into the final race, which is next week at Atlanta. This is just, you're in the chase, you're going to run it all the way through, and whoever has the best points is going to win. And so far, that is going to be Steven Maggio, who currently sits P3 on the track. He is your points leader. Brody Falliker, who is in, let's find him. He's in 14th currently, lost a couple of spots. He sits P2, 28 spots behind Steven Maggio heading into this race.
Yeah, very, very tight. Third in the points is the number 1 car of Jonathan Hernandez, right now running P6, down 2 spots overall from where he qualified this evening. Right now, little bit of a battle for P2 as the 11 of Jimmy Cocker slides right on up in front of the 51. 91 of Rivers Jones, the 1, the 68, 24, and the 78. A little bit of side-by-side action for about P9.
Yeah, Jimmy Cocker kind of woke up. I mean, I saw him just dive it down low earlier on that restart, and he says, I'm out of here. It's time for me to go up front. You can see he's got some damage to that left side from earlier incidents, but he is up here. P3, Jordan McGraw in 2nd. We heard a different strategy from him earlier in the race. Francis Hamilton in the lead, and that 34 is going to challenge him. They must be confident enough in that lead that they have to try to go for that first spot, but man, they are still going side by side, and now the 34 going to tuck him behind.
At 34, Jordan McGraw just running, depending on where he can, to get the most clean air. So he's taking just a little bit different of a line than the 48. That way, he's not having to put a little bit of extra wheel in it. Meanwhile, the 11 of Jimmy Cocker, he's about a second or so behind Jordan McGraw. So he may just start to get a little bit of a whiff of the draft. He's way down on the apron. These two about 3rd or 4th line up off, going high and wide into turns 1 and 2. The 11 car also back there trying to keep that machine wound up. Maggio P4, Rivers Jones P5, and Brody Falliker right now finds himself in P7, continuing to try to march his way back through.
Yeah, I just looked at Brody, and he was 14th. Now he's back in 7th. I mean, this guy is on a mission. He knows what's on the line. He's the defending champ, so he wants to make it back up there. But I'll tell you what, I don't know what happened to these guys, Pete. Maggio, he's sitting P4, 4 seconds behind McGraw, he's in second, right on the heels of Francis Hamilton and Cocker. He's on his own little island, just hoping to catch on to their draft and not let the guys behind him get close enough to get that draft.
The only thing I can think of, Eliza, all these guys were down pit road lap 69. Jimmy Cocker went in on lap 70, as the 42 said, maybe just to top off. Are these guys thinking they're on the cusp of being able to make it on fuel? Might have to save a little bit, make sure they can go the full distance. Is that why these guys are running a little bit slower of a pace? That's why the Francis Hamilton and Jordan McGraw were able to just rock it away. The 11, he's the one that topped off. He's got a little bit of security in that machine. It's it could be fuel strategy.
Yeah, Maggio and Folliker, these two drivers that are going for this championship, they have stayed out the longest. Take a look at this length on the stint. It's 28 laps. The remainder of the drivers, 10 laps ago, they went in. So we'll see how this fares for them. But man, Francis Hamilton looking solid out there on that 48 machine. He's got the 34 right behind him, still hanging out. Jordan McGraw, he has tried to go for the lead a couple of times, unable to do so. We've talked to a couple of drivers. They say dirty air is in fact a huge issue. They are going all over the track to try to avoid that dirty air, and we've seen it as we've had drivers pushing other drivers and then just taking a peek on the outside or the inside just to get that clean air.
Taking a look at those numbers again, I don't think Maggio and Brody Folliker can go 49 laps on a tank. I think you said earlier, or just as we came on, we were looking at about maybe 33 laps, 34 laps on each set of tires in order to get to the end of this 100 lapper here at Michigan. I don't recall exactly what you said as far as a fuel load goes, but I'm pretty sure it's less than 49 laps.
It's about 45, and if you're in draft, it could be a little more. So it is going to be extremely tight, Pete. I don't know, but these guys are counting on another caution. You heard Brody say that he's got one more set of tires, and he's hoping for a caution around 15 to go. The question is, are they going to get it?
I tell you what, if the top two have anything to say about it, they're going green the rest of the way. Jimmy Cocker wants that podium spot for this evening. Right now, Francis Hamilton, he is one of the chasers. He's leading. He wants max points on the night. Not quite sure where he was in the stage break. Jimmy Cocker again right now running P3. Rivers Jones in his Izzy and Jay Sopko number 91 sitting P4. Maggio in that draft, like what you just said, behind the 91. So is the 91 kind of towing him along? Very, very possible. The 42 of Brody Folliker pulling right up to the back bumper of the 51 of Maggio. So our top two in points right now running nose to tail for 5th and 6th. Joe Berg, who showed a whole lot of speed before that last caution, he sits P7. Josh Taylor 8th, John Hernandez 9th, and John Honeycutt in that Superman machine for Team FTR, rounding out the top 10.
Yeah, and these two drivers, Steven Maggio and Brody Folliker, running nose to tail is not helping Brody at all. The 51 is in the lead in the point standings. Something really has to happen for Brody to take over that lead or get close enough to take the championship on this final race. That 51 car, he's got 6 wins. Brody has 3. Both of them are super consistent. It's just going to be so incredibly close. But how about Francis Hamilton? I got to take it back up to this 48 machine. Can we get a win for Francis Hamilton? And we also have Jordan McGraw. Neither of these drivers have a win this season. I would love to see it, Pete.
Yeah, so would I. I mean, it would be great for parity. Jimmy Cocker's still back there in 3rd. He's got a couple wins on the season. Started off at Daytona in his throwback to his season 1 win. But yeah, I mean, Francis Hamilton, he was up here pushing the 42 earlier. Right now finds all the clean air on the nose of his Detroit Tigers number 48 Camaro. 34 looks like he might be losing a little bit in that dirty air. Maybe lost the right front just a little bit, but still a good gap between them two. Back to Cocker, 15 laps to go, Eliza.
Yeah, that gap has increased. I mean, not too long ago it was around 4 seconds. Now we're up to almost 6 seconds. So that has definitely increased, and Brody Folliker is now leading that group out there. Steven Maggio is falling back, and we see him in P8. He's still gained 10 spots from where he started, but he is most definitely falling back, which is not good news for him, but he has enough points that hopefully he won't be sweating too much.
Yeah, Maggio came in 28 points ahead of Brody Folliker in the standings so far, and as the 51 found a little bit of a hole that he was able to move up into going down the backstretch last lap, both the 68 and the one of Hernandez, they pulled low, so that gave no help whatsoever to Maggio. Now he's up on the high side. He's no longer kind of shuffled out as him and the one get a little tight.
Woo.
The same as the 7 and the 2 of Josh Taylor. 68 of Tom Harmon. He finds a spot right behind, right along with the 37.
On board with Steven Maggio. He's down on that inside line, moving his way up through the high side. 93 going to be Joe Berg to his inside. We're going to have Izzy and Jay Soap. That's going to be Rivers Jones directly in front of him. He has to try to get around these cars, and he's done a great job so far. He's going to have Brody Folliker just a couple of cars directly in front of him, and you can see him blinking out up there still. Unfortunately, I know it has affected him in these races, and I do believe he would not be so far behind if he did not get kicked out of a race or two because of his internet.
Tell you what, I am very, very surprised with that 42. Not only did he go to the end of the line, and now that he's back up to running P4, but Eliza, he hasn't been on pit road since lap 51. Others around him have been on pit road lap 69, lap 70. Everybody else around him has brand new tires, or what could be brand new. Well, no, a few of them might have gone down and just grabbed fuel, like Rivers Jones or Joe Berg, maybe Tom Harmon, John Hernandez, and Josh Taylor when looking at some of their pit times. But the fact that he's been able to carve his way back through and take over P4 while Steven Maggio is kind of struggling a little bit with traffic, that's very impressive for that 42.
And that's why he's defending champ. I mean, he's just done a phenomenal job, and he did last season. Whole different car, and here he is in the Gen 6 doing a fantastic job. And he said his teammate Jimmy Cocker, he's in a good position. So hopefully that stays that way. He is in the chase. Also out there, top 5 in points. I do believe he's 4th. Let me take a look. Yes, he is in 4th in the standings. But his teammate, Francis Hamilton, out here in the lead. No win this season. He is in the chase. I want to see him come home a winner. And you know I would love to see Jordan McGraw also come home a winner. He is not a chase driver. The only one out here in the top 9 that is not a chase driver.
Yeah, Jordan McGraw right now looking really good. It looks like that strategy that he went through earlier when we were wondering why he stayed out. Well, it looks like he took 4 brand new Eagle Field Goods with a pit time of 14:82. And J-Mac right now very, very strong, sticking right there with the 48, able to pull right back up with him. And they've now got a 3-second gap back to Jimmy Cocker and 6 seconds back to Brody Folliker, Joe Berg, Rivers Jones, and company. So top 2 have absolutely pulled away to a zip code of their own.
Steven Maggio taking it way down low into the corner, coming back on track. I don't know if something happened where someone got loose, but man, he is trying to preserve everything that he can. Brian Pizzakimi, these guys are 4 wide. You can see Andrew Sanford way down low on that apron. He was 4 wide with Brian Pizzakimi in that 78, the 68 of Thomas Harmon, and the 50 of John Honeycutt.
Yeah, 50 John Honeycutt pulling up to that outside wall. You see the 78 of Pizzakemi just below. Now it looks like that's going to be Matt Sisler in that 45 behind Pizzakemi. Then we've got Philip Bridgman, Kevin Dallator, that's who it was, as well as Jared Cardwell a little bit further back. JC all on an island of his own, so to speak, after getting that machine fixed up the best he can. But Eliza's back out on track and gaining points.
8 to go, Pete. This race is winding down, and that 34 is right on his heels, putting the pressure on him. Now, how is that dirty air going to affect him? Is the 34 going to continue to push him? continue to get that gap over third and fourth. Jimmy Cocker, 4 seconds behind. These two have just gapped the field. I'm just really impressed with how they did that and have kept that. I know the dirty air is a huge factor, and it's got to be affecting this huge group back here led by Brody Folliker, who is trying to go for back-to-back championships. We'll see, but that 51 diving it in really far, and he's going to go right behind Joe Berg, unable to make the pass over that one car. And you can see, too, Josh Taylor into the wall, holds on to it, though.
Yeah, Josh Taylor, by scrubbing the wall the way that he did, it opened up a gap for the 51 of Steven Maggio to slide on into. Now pulling right down in front of the 91 of Rivers Jones. He's catching up to the back end of Joe Berg, but it looks like the 1 of Hernandez is going to go ahead and close that gap. The 2 of Josh Taylor back with him, 93 of Berg, and the 42 pulling low, and now Hernandez pulling down low in front of the 51 as well. All these guys up on the high side, leaving the 51 to fall back just a little bit. Now Rivers Jones and the 68 of Tom Harmon taking the 51 3 wide. Josh Taylor wondering which line is going to move as the 50 of John Honeycutt pulls up the backside of the 91.
91 playing patty cake with that wall, just bouncing off of it as he is 3 wide with the 51 and the 68, just calling it very, very close. But these guys are battling out there for P7, so extremely tight racing, and it is not going to end as we have 5 to go. Meanwhile, Francis Hamilton still in the lead with Jordan McGraw right behind, and they made their way past that 13 machine, which is Joseph Turley.
Tell you what, I think the 34 of J-Mac, as he looks to go ahead and make a little bit of a move there, I thought maybe Jordan was going to go ahead and just kind of conserve his tires, not really race side by side with the 48 just yet. Make sure that he's got the grip in his tires. I believe he took 4 brand new Eagle Feel Goods last time he was on pit road. I mentioned that a little bit ago, but he wasn't able to make the pass just then. I think Jordan McGraw very hungry. Caution is out. We are going to have a green-white checker. How about a way to settle this here in Michigan?
Oh, man. Let's take a look. I saw the one car going through. Brody hits the wall hard. I don't know if he had contact with the 93. The one car nowhere to go. He gets sent through the infield. Man, absolute insanity.
Very, very unfortunate for that 42. Hard shot for the 1 of Hernandez as well. That could spell a lot of trouble for Brody.
Try to back it up a little bit, see what exactly happened. Like he just got into the wall, try to get that off the wall, and made contact with the one car. If you recall, he did claim fault for the first incident. Not sure how this one will pan out, but I am heartbroken for Brody right now. Just you need to see it.
Yeah, it just goes back up track, pancakes the outside wall. It'll be interesting to see just how much damage he's actually got. One update that I wish they'd have to iRacing is for us to be able to see the actual damage clock that these cars are on. By looking at the right side of that 42 as he sits on pit road, he's still there as those new tires have been put on. So that tells me it may have been a little bit of a meatball. Not 100% sure, but he still sits on pit road.
Leaders coming in as we are under our 6th caution of the night. It was 3 to go. Francis Hamilton, who led quite a lot of laps out there on this green flag run, makes his way onto pit lane, hopefully taking those tires, and off we go into this next run.
And 42's right front tires looked like it was slightly up and off the ground, so that tells me he must have a busted toe link. He's, I'm sure, very, very happy for all those coming on down pit road, and he would relish the joy to try to get back out there and fight for the best possible finish.
I'm heartbroken. Absolutely gutted for these guys. It's good racing, and just simple things happen, and it can absolutely ruin your race. But 48 coming out. Joe Berg going to be leading us back to green. John Honeycutt in second. Francis Hamilton in third. Stephen Maggio fourth. Jimmy Cocker going to be in fifth.
Yeah, Joe Berg and John Honeycutt with a pit time of 9.57 and 9.75. Everybody else in the 14 or 15 second bracket going all the way back to Matt Gale, Jarrett Cardwell, and Brendan Book still on pit road, fixing up their machines just a little bit. So Francis Hamilton, bad fast. We saw Jordan McGraw hanging right there with him. Now they're both going to have to deal with Stephen Maggio, Jimmy Cocker, Tom Harmon, Rivers Jones, Andrew Sanford, and Josh Taylor just to go through the top 10. Matt Sisler, Brian Pizzakemi, Luke Allen, Kevin Dallator, and Jonathan Hernandez, who was also part of that wreck, going all the way back through the top 15. Eliza, green-white checker attempt number 1 from Michigan coming up. It's going to get interesting. Elbows up.
Yeah, it's going to get interesting. Let's have a quick chat with Joe Berg. Joe Berg going to be leading us to green as we get ready to go back to green. Joe, how you feeling out there?
Scared. For one, scared. I honestly thought more people were going to take 2, but we'll see what happens.
What do you think your chances are for a win out here tonight?
That's about all we're going for here. We can't really do much in the points, so we're hoping to get our first win here.
Yeah. Well, you're
Go get
looking
it, bud.
strong out there, and it's been so fun watching you make your way up here to the front, and I wish you a ton of luck.
Well, thank you. We'll see what kind of show we can put on here.
Absolutely. All right, you were in FIWB, right?
That's correct.
Okay. Good luck moving forward.
Thank you.
All right, you heard it from Joe Berg. I think things are about to get very interesting, Pete. And Chapman, I see you out there. Thank you so much for the follow. Hope you're having a great night. And man, it's wild out here. It is absolutely wild.
I tell you, watching the 51 weave back and forth, the 11 of Jimmy Cocker doing the same thing, it is go time. 3-lap shootout to set it all here at Michigan International Raceway. 93 of Joe Berg, he just let it out, let the cat out of the bag that he only took 2 tires, thought others would do the same thing. Got to wonder if John Honeycutt had 2 to put on that Superman number 50 for Team FTR, the 48 and the 34. They were scooting away before. Green flag, Eliza. Let's go.
There we go. A nice start for Joe Berg as he is the control car. Now let's see what we can do. I want to keep it green. Let's see if we can do so. But man, Joe Berg, a nice lead. Francis Hamilton directly behind, and he is who we saw leading the field for many, many laps. Now, can he get back there?
I tell you, it'll be interesting. If either of the 2 leaders right now, if they get a win, I believe it'd be their first. Maybe the 48 might have. No, the 48 doesn't have a win either. So yeah, it would be a first for the 48. And Joe Berg definitely wants to get it done. Well, we got a battle. Where did they come to the white flag before the wreck? Yes, they did. Eliza, checkers or wreckers for the last time going into turns 1 and 2 side by side, first through 4th.
Here we go, teammates side by side. Will they get it done? And they got Jimmy Cocker right behind as we're going out on the backstretch. We have John Honeycutt in the mix, Rivers Jones in 6th, Josh Taylor in 5th. Francis Hamilton back in the lead as we go into turn 4. Can he hold on to? He's going to get a nice nudge from the 11 car. A nice lead out for that 48 machine. Can he get it? He is going to take home the win. First win of the season for that 48 machine. Francis Hamilton secures his first win. A huge congratulations. Jimmy Cocker in 2nd. Joe Berg, he's going to bring home podium.
Great job to the top 3. Hell of a last lap. Everybody completely after it. What a race. What a great finish. It looks like Rivers Jones going to be bringing home P4 in his Izzy and Jay Soapco Ford. Then it's going to be the 2 of Josh Taylor, 50 of John Honeycutt, 68 of Tom Harmon. Brian Pizzakemi brings it home P8. P9 is going to be Stephen Maggio. P10, the 37 of Andrew Sanford.
I got to get all these guys in the booth. I just want to hear the reaction as they celebrate for that 48 machine. Absolutely phenomenal. And I love to see new winners out here. Let's take a look as Francis is burning it down. What a great job. What a wild couple of laps. Let's watch him celebrate. Pete, man, I don't know. This race was absolutely crazy, but that 48, what a celebration for him.
Yeah, he kind of showed what he had a little bit when him and Jordan McGraw were getting away from the rest of the field. We also saw what he was capable of when he was pushing the 42, or when they got that great launch earlier in the race, celebrating in Michigan Raceway Victory Lane. And man, this is going to be he's gonna savor this. Something tells me FIWB is gonna party like a rock star tonight.
I think so. Yeah, here he goes. Victory lane right here. Francis Hamilton, how you feeling?
Finally, that's all I got. Is finally,
We needed a Francis win, so I am so beyond thrilled for you. Just what a phenomenal run. How did you find your way up here? You gained 2 spots, so you were up here, but how did you get it on that final restart?
yeah. One of the last cautions, I decided to take or not take tires and ride around and hope that we got one, and we did, and I could come and take them. And me and McGraw were able to take them at the same time and pull a 5-second lead on the field. And I thought I had it locked from there, but there was some shenanigans in the back like there usually is, and there was a caution, and I thought it was over like last season. It's the exact same thing that happened last season. But yeah, my boy Johnny Cockrod was able to give me a big push there on the backstretch, and was able to clear old Joe and finally do it.
Oh man, amazing. And you did. You led so many laps out there, so I'm glad you're able to capture it here tonight at Michigan International Speedway. You're in the chase. I know. What are your goals going into the final race after the win tonight?
Top 5 in points. I think that's probably all I can do, but yeah,
That's
that would be a good success. Finally got a win. It's a good season.
That's huge. Oh my God, I'm so excited for you. We needed a Francis win, so it is here. Huge congratulations. How was the dirty air? I know it had to be an issue. How hard was it to pass?
Oh, it was awful. It was really bad. It was really hard to pass, and once you made it, I mean, you could kind of slide job if you got clean air on the bottom, but other than that, you were just kind of stuck behind the guy that was in front of you.
Any fun battles you want to call out?
Yeah, when me and Brody went from like 13th and 15th to the lead and pulled a 2.5 lead, that was a pretty good time.
Absolutely. Absolutely. All right, Francis, I am so thrilled for you. You need to do a lot of celebrating tonight. Well deserved. And man, I'm
There will
pumped.
be some Millers cracked for sure.
For sure. Congratulations to you on your first win. Let's go. And I know Austin is out there celebrating with you also. So
Shout out
time.
Austin. He's my boy.
Congratulations, Francis. Well deserved.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right, P. Jimmy Cocker out here, P2.
I tell you, first for Francis, I got to give him a big old thumbs up. He's had one hell of a season. Way to pull the win tonight. If you look at his gaming profile picture, it looks like, and I'm going to date myself here a little bit, looks like Mrs. Doubtfire's old cousin that loves the game. I don't know why that all of a sudden just like popped in my head, but yeah, there it is. But Jimmy Cocker bringing it home. P2 started 11th, so you're up 9 spots. You were able to kind of charge your way through the field when the 48 and the 42 got away just a bit. You were kind of all over, all throughout the running order this evening. Walk us through your race and what this runner-up finish means for you.
Jeez, I don't even know where to start. It was such an eventful night.
Right.
I'm still catching my breath a little bit. That's some really intense racing. That's more intense than the trucks we did last night. That was yeah. I mean, I guess I'll start. I got involved in that lap 1 wreck out of turn 4. We rebounded from that. We didn't take any tires for the first 50 laps of the race. That was completely accidental. For some reason, the pit crew decided I do not need tires for 50 laps. So it actually ended up working for me, right? Like I was able to save a set, and that's where you saw us blow through the field. Me, Jordan, and Frank were all on new tires. Like nobody else was on new tires. So we, like, if you thought tires didn't matter in a Gen 6, they absolutely do. I mean, we
Yeah, when we pulled Brody Falliker up to the booth during one of those cautions, he let on that you hadn't used the set of tires for the first 51 laps. So that had to be great for you in the second half of the race. And obviously it was, because you were able to charge your way through the field after that caution and get up to at least that third spot. I don't think there was a way that you were going to catch up to the top two at the moment, but the rest of the second half of the race definitely went your way.
No doubt. I mean, that being even in the conversation after the night I had with almost killing Steven Maggio, I feel bad about that, so I'll apologize to him formally here. That was not my intention to hit the wall and tail slam him into the inside wall. I don't think he got any damage because he was still up front with us. But that and just all of the contact, I feel like I hit a whole bunch of cars, ended up with like a 12x this race. So it's just very hectic, a lot of saving, a lot of holding on to the race car, and those final laps, man. I mean, that final restart. I thought Francis had that one in the bag if there was no caution. Caution comes out, I'm like, oh no, here we go again. And no, he clutched up, took the right line, and won a race that he's really should have won for 2 seasons now. He was really close in the Xfinity race, so just really happy for him and all of the boys at FIWB.
You mentioned, you didn't mean to get into Maggio coming off the wall. We saw a lot of cars really either hitting with the right front or the right rear coming off too, for the most part. How dirty was that air when you're all just pretty much single file going down the backstretch?
I wish I could blame dirty air, but it really was just a lack of talent from old Johnny Cockrod. I just got up the track, got in the marbles. I forgot who did it in the truck race last night, but just got up there, hit the wall a little bit, and has that boomerang effect. And then, unfortunately, it was the 51 under me, and he ended up saving it. So I'm happy that happened, but not happy that I caused that accident.
All right, buddy. Great runner-up finish tonight. We'll see you next week at whatever the new Legacy Atlanta is called. I forget already. But congrats, and we'll see you then.
Sounds good, man. Thank you.
All right, Eliza, Joe Berg bringing that number 93 Chevrolet to P3, up 14 spots. He's with you.
Yeah, FIWB having a great night. Win second and third. Joe Berg. We talked to you already tonight, but man, rounding out the top 3 tonight. How was the final few laps of your race?
It was interesting. It went a little different than I thought it would. I had no idea that I would have that much left in the tank with just 2 tires, but I think the deserving driver definitely got the win at the end. Fran was all over this racetrack all night, so can't be too mad, but definitely going to have an internal conversation with the driver of that 11 car, the decision who to push down the backstretch. Just got to see what that's all about. You know, he was on the top, figured the top goes with the top, but he cleared himself and made a decision. So we'll see, but real happy for Fran. 1, 2, 3 for FIWB is pretty nice.
How about that?
That's pretty freaking awesome. Absolutely. Heading into Atlanta, how do you feel about that track?
I love Atlanta. I wish that it wasn't what it is currently. So looking to have a lot of fun there next week.
Absolutely. Well, congratulations on the top 3 once again tonight. Just an amazing job. A great night for FIWB. So a lot of celebrating to be done. You guys did a phenomenal job. So, man, great night at Michigan, Pete. It is just absolutely insane how it all unfolded.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of great racing all the way through 2, 3, 4 wide at times. It's sad that the season's coming to an end, but we got one more Legacy Atlanta Motor Speedway. That's what it'll always be to me, and probably most of everybody else in this field as well. Cannot wait to see how the championship race unfolds. We'll see.
Yeah, we will see you guys next week, same time, same day. It's going to be Monday night at 8:20 p.m. Eastern Time. We'll have a chat with our championship drivers going for the championship next week. We'll have a chat with them pre-race, but until then, Thank you so much for tuning in, supporting the driver, supporting the broadcast. Have a great night. We'll see you next week.